Hello, Tarot Tube. I am jumping in on this new tag that was started by Candy, Soul, and Soil and, oh boy, Green Goddess Tarot, where we're taking the major arcana out into our garden and finding these different cards. So as I did that little intro, I just gave you a kind of a sweep of this one border in my garden. So this garden has been mine for about 7 years, so it's not really mature, but it is filling out pretty nicely. This is the third garden I've created, and what a joy it is. All right, so that leads us to our first card, which is the Fool. Now this deck that I'm using is a deck I got for AAPI month. It's by Jia Sung. It's a Chinese folktale about this monkey, which we would probably think of it as the hero's journal, which is a nice journal, but the hero's journey in the West, pretty much. It's the trickster, except for this monkey trickster gets up to more hijinks than our traditional hero's journey. Yeah, so I'll leave it there. I did a walkthrough on this deck. I'll probably do another one. Anyway, so let's talk about the Fool or the Trickster. Well, the ultimate fool in any garden, let me just put this down, is of course the gardener. But let's see what we can find. The Trickster, I've got it. Okay, it's any of these crazy, I almost said crazy something, vines that go where we don't really plan for them to go. So here's one in this blue spruce, right? I think this is Boston ivy. Look at this one going up the tree. And this ivy here in this border, so this is my neighbor's ivy, and it just keeps coming in, and I keep pulling it back and it keeps coming in. Thankfully, there's very little poison ivy in here, but I do have to be careful. Well, here's a kind of foolish thing. I decided to make a compost pile here. Let me get this trash can out of the way. A gardener never stops. And yeah, it's kind of a mess, isn't it? Because I don't really have the physical strength to go in there and keep turning it over and everything. So yeah, that's kind of trickstery of me. Let's go to our next card. All right, the next one is the Magician. All right, so let's talk about the cool and warm colors in this deck for a moment and how that plays out in my garden. So in my garden, the back garden is my cooler garden, my calmer garden. The front is my more exuberant, warm garden. And for right now, we're in the back garden. So here I try to put lots of cool colors, and I try to bring in white so that I can sit out here at night and still see my flowers and enjoy them. Let's get back to my Magician. So in a way, this back garden, the way the borders are and stuff, this is sort of my Magician thing, just because I've created this space where I can create my own private magic. But I think the best thing is not a plant or anything, it's this one spot. So I put in this crepe myrtle here, and yeah, all these beautiful things. I always have to turn my chairs upside down because I have so many birds that they poop all over everything, and then I have nowhere to sit. Anyhow, so I created this little space for myself, which gives me a good amount of privacy. It's right up against my house, and I can come out here pretty much any time of year. I've got some electric, so I can plug in a fan or an outdoor space heater if I like. And I can sit out here and make my own magic. And yeah, it's got a lot of the, see how we've got the red overhang, like this Magician gets the red overhang? Okay, so there's my first card. And let's just walk past here as I go back to get my other cards. Here's my vegetable, my veggies, which I intersperse with flowers because that's the way I like it. Everything's all mixed up with me. All right, let's see what we got next. We've got the High Priestess. This particular High Priestess has a lot of motion, doesn't she? Hmm, 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 hmm. This, I'm temporarily stumped. All right, let's take the High Priestess and the Empress, because I know who the Empress is already. Let's take them out front, and I'll introduce you to my front garden. I am in my PJs, so hopefully we don't run into anybody and I have to sort of giggle and whatever. This is my Three Sisters. If you're not familiar with this, it's an indigenous Native American combination which has corn and squash and beans together. The corn is theoretically going to grow up high, and then the beans and the squash can use those as stakes. Yep. This particular kind of compost is working. All right, here's my driveway. We're looking for the High Priestess and the Empress, but I may just have to jump ahead and do the Empress. Yes. Well, let me introduce you to my Empress. Here is my Empress. My Empress is this fabulous cut leaf maple. And the sun is not really cooperating with me here. I think maybe if we come around and look at her from the other side, but since we're over here, we'll look at this mountain laurel. So remember we looked at the white mountain laurel in the back, and that was my cool mountain laurel, and here's my warm, hot, pink, super pink mountain laurel. This one is full blown. It's just so gorgeous. But this one, as you can see, it's still got a mix of things happening, which I kind of favor because you see the different shades of pink. Nice and hot there. Let's wander through here and see if we can't get my Empress in a better light. Look, the lupins came back. I was so happy. Although the shade changed, which I think is kind of interesting. They were a little more purple before, now they are more pink. Okay, I think we'll see our Empress better here. Here's a nice close-up. Well, let's back up, see if we can get her all in. There she is, my Empress. She rules the front yard, or the front garden. She's fantastic. I just love her. I love her. So that's my Empress. Now we're back to the High Priestess, which is really, what am I going to do? Okay, this is a stretch. This is a stretch, but go with me here. So I decided to put some fruit trees out front. So this is just a straight up apple tree. You know, it's funny, I hope that, yeah, I keep diverging. I've got pollen all over the screen of my camera, so hopefully the lens is good. So anyway, what was I saying? Yes, this is my new apple tree. And we're gonna say that, here's the front of the garden. Here's my teeny tiny little space for sitting in the morning with my tea. And my bee balm, which is fabulous when it's out. Okay, who knows what will be going by the time we finish. Yeah, and then this came really dark. I'm not even sure if I like it anymore. It's almost black this year. And again, it was more purple last year. Anywho, here is my High Priestess, because this is magic. So what we've got here is an apple tree. I got it at Home Depot. I know. I'm still, you know, I'm of the people, even though I'm a snooty gardener. And this crazy apple tree, which is going to give me fruit now after 3 years, it is a really crazy hybrid apple tree, which is to say that the good inventors of this, they took this trunk and then they grafted onto that trunk different branches from different kinds of trees. So I think there's 4 different kinds of apples on this tree. And like I said, this is the first year that I've got fruit coming. So I'm hoping that the critters let me have some of these apples and that they're going to be yummy and delicious. I think this is my High Priestess, because this shouldn't really be. This is kind of a magic thing that this tree exists in my garden and that I helped to grow it. Probably my Empress helped to grow it. Probably. That's what I'm thinking. yeah, so that's it. I didn't get interrupted by anybody. No landscapers came by. I am the only person on my block. No, I shouldn't say that. There's two people on my block that do their own gardens. Everybody else uses these huge landscape crews. And when they come by, you just have to go inside and shut your windows for an hour or two because they are so freaking loud. Maybe they're going to be the devil, the landscaping crews. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So we'll end with my nice, calm back garden. See, it really feels different, right? I love how gardens can just give you all the feels. And we'll end here. We will end with our beautiful white mountain laurels, nice and calm. Look, and there's a little bird poop right there. See, I told you, they love me. The birds love me. And hopefully you'll get to meet my vegetable garden in future episodes. And these lovely white bleeding hearts. Oh my gosh, so much to love in a garden. All right, and thank you for joining me on this trickster's journey into my garden, a major arcana. There we go, trickster's journey. And I think I'm going to stick with this book. I think I'll stick with this deck. Take care, everybody, and enjoy being outside.